Welcome to our drum kit. This is how I'm going to be setting it up. Yeah, I have to set it all up again now. This little thing here I've got two of these. These are called rack toms. They have this little knob here where you grab these arms and shove that in there. Once you shove that in there, you can tighten it with this little knob. And you shove this into a hole in the top of your bass drum. I do have a second rack tom here, but as opposed to putting this on the arm, I prefer to have my snare drum more central to my tom-toms. So I've just sat it on this second lesser quality snare drum stand that I have. That way it sits on. I've just tightened them around the rims so it doesn't fall. Got my practice pad, just in case. Over here I've got my two floor tom-toms. This one is my deeper one, this is the higher one. All of which, by the way, have these tone dampeners. These little gels here will get rid of any overtones to stop them from ringing out as much. I have my snare drum here, it's currently turned off. I've got my two hi-hats, primary and secondary, with my double pedal on the floor. There's my bass drum, music stand. It's pretty self-explanatory. Carrying these, never hold them by the bar in the middle, always grab one pedal each. As you can see here, I've set up my tom-toms the way that I prefer. Normally this tom-tom, resting in that hole coming off to this side here, while this one sits where this one is. But as the snare drum will be sitting right here, I have it more stationary between these two, allowing for like easier movement between the two. That's just my personal preference. Alright, now here we are setting up my bass drum pedal. This is what is called a double pedal. Specifically for this case, it is a Pearl Demon Drive 300-C, I think. What you want to do is you want to unscrew this little screw here, which will loosen up this little flap here. That allows you to slide onto the bass drum. Just lift the bass drum just a tad bit, and slide it on so it's nice and on, and then you just tighten that little bar just there. Make sure it's nice and tight, otherwise it will slide off. Yep, perfect. Now, point of a double bass drum is that normally you just get one pedal. The second pedal, or beater even, attaches to this pedal here, the slave pedal. Now what this does is you put on the left side of your snare drum. This will go next to the hi-hat. And when you clip that on to there, so yeah, once you've loosened it, you can attach it on to the first pedal, like so. It's arguing a little bit. There we go. Once you get that on, you just tighten up again. Everything needs to be pretty tight, but not too tight. You don't want it too tight because then it will break all the screws. Now that you've got that second pedal on, this controls that beater. So if it controls that beater, you can get a nice What's the spider hanging off my head? Where's the spider? Yeah, get on the wall. Do not get on me. There's a spider hanging off me. Oh, it's been a while since I've done this thing. Once you have the basics of the drum kit set up, being the hi-hat, your snare drum, or your tom-toms, bass drum, and your pedal, that's when you can start working on your extras, such as cymbals, being this extra hi-hat, cymbals, and your cymbal stands, which will be set up around the kit. Cymbal stands are fairly easy to set up. To set up a cymbal stand, first thing you want to do is you want to loosen this little knob just here. that will get these legs loose and you can pull them apart. Mine are a little bit rusty as they are secondhand. Once you've gotten that on, you can tighten that back up. You've got those legs set up, and each of these two knobs will lengthen. On my kit, I use two different crash cymbals. Both are 18-inch, however, they are different brands and have different tones to them. This one is a minor 18-inch medium crash. Did I say 18? I did say 18, look at me. Depending on the song, I will use either my 16-inch light Zildjian china or my 18-inch dark minor china. They switch out between the different songs, but my normal go-to is the dark minor. With this extra hi-hat, this is used for when you need both feet on the drum pedals and you cannot shut your hi-hat. This one is constantly shut at a sizzle. That was a bad example. Still a bad example, but you get the idea. The ride that I use is this black Minor Custom 20-inch dark ride. This is one of the most beautiful cymbals I have got. I like to sit it over just between the hi-hat and the first rack tom on the right. Just here, that allows for easy access to hitting. I normally don't use a boom stand for this, as it is fairly large. I don't really need the extra room. There's bugs all over me, getting in my ears, in my hair. So these little bonus pieces here pick up this extra arm. This extra arm hangs off of the main cymbal stand and is designed for my little splash cymbal, which you will see in a second. Now, because this is where the splash goes, I like it closer to my snare drum for easier hitting. So this stand is used for my main crash, and I like to sit it just here, allowing for the splash to be just over the hi-hat of the crash in the middle of the tom-toms, in line with the snare. With this main cymbal here, just in front of the snare drum, I prefer to incorporate a lighter sound, so therefore I will use my Zildjian 18-inch crash, which has a tad bit of a brighter sound to as opposed to minor. The splash, I use this dual sound minor splash, it's 10-inch. That will just sit on the smaller arms located just off of the stand. I have made a mistake. Even the wrong stands. This is gonna suck. I just put the throw that in there thinking this is the minor 18-inch crash I was talking about earlier. It has a dulled down, not as bright sound, so I prefer to use it on the right for when I'm doing more of the constant crashing. It provides a cleaner sound, less harsh in the ears. Now the final step to my drum kit is I use this drumstick bag. This clips onto my hi-hat and holds extra drumsticks so that in the odd case that I do drop a stick, I can just grab a new one and keep drumming. The drumsticks I prefer is a 5A. I do not prefer a certain brand. I normally use nylon, but I'm good with wood tips. I don't have a preference. And there we go. That is the end of setting up my drum kit. I've got everything in the first good place. Now comes the fun part of just slowly moving everything around till I get it in the perfect spot to my liking. then we are good to start drumming the way we prefer it. Thank you.